Hi, folks. Welcome back to Dare Tell Darla, or welcome to Dare Tell Darla. So I get a little confused because I also have another channel that's Loving and Living Maine, and but today the subject I'm discussing, I'm putting on both channels because I saw someone speak of it twice now. His name is Kevin Lake, and he has the channel Homesteading Today. He has many channels, and um, he does a lot of things. But that one happens to be on YouTube. He's also on Facebook and different places. He's been doing social media for something like 12 years or maybe more. I don't know. Um, but he's the kind of guy that he tells it like it is. He does not sugarcoat. And I love that. I appreciate that. And that's kind of me. And sometimes we rub people the wrong way, especially as a female doing it for whatever reason. Sometimes that rubs people the wrong way. But here it is. The subject today is overmothering and underfathering. And the reason I bring it up is because when he mentioned it on his channel, I said I was going to mention it on my channels too. Even though my channels are not anywhere near as populated as his are, but I'm hoping for it one of these days. By the way, have you hit the like button or the subscribe button yet? Okay, so overmothering. First of all, when somebody says, okay, what makes you qualified? Yes, I have a master's degree in human behavior. That is not what makes me qualified. What makes me qualified to discuss this is that in combination with the fact that I'm 60 years old and I've raised children, I have grandchildren, I've been a daughter, I've seen dysfunctional families, and I've seen healthy families for decades. So that's why I feel like I'm qualified to discuss this a little bit. And I want to hear your comments. So please, feel free to add to or, you know, uh, correct me if you want to. So the overmothering part is where a child is raised primarily by their mother, very little from their father. And it shows because let's take a mama's boy, for example. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Whew. That is one mistake that I had to learn the hard way. And yeah, many years ago, when you have a boyfriend or a husband that has been primarily raised by their mother and spoiled rotten, and you end up marrying that person, and I'm not going to say that I did that, but I have had experiences with mama's boys before. um and it just turned me off. I didn't really know the term wasn't coined back then, or if it was, I didn't understand it. Let's just put it that way. And when you have a young man that wants you to cut the crust off his sandwich for him, or make his bed, or tie his shoes, I don't know. When they just feel like they need a mommy instead of a girlfriend, or more importantly, a wife, you've got problems. Because I mean, yes, there are those relationships where that's what they want. They want a relationship where the wife is more like a mommy, and or the husband is more like a daddy. But a healthy, balanced relationship, that's not what's really wanted or required. Um, and that's where we have a problem, because typically, if you're healthy, you don't want to make love to your mommy or your daddy. You know what? That is just gross. And when you're trying to find that balance of, okay, I'm doing everything for him because mommy did everything for him, and that's not the way mommy did it. That's not the way mama did it. Uh-uh. There's no balance there. And then on the flip side, the lack of a daddy in someone's life, the father, that's a problem too. That whole old fashioned, outdated, and it never should have happened in the first place because it was so destructive. I go to work, I bring home the bacon, therefore you're the mother, you're the wife, the children are your responsibility. Oh, hell no. That is not the way it works, folks, because that little girl is going to go looking for a father figure someday. And it's not going to be healthy. There's going to be a predator out there waiting for that. No. And for the boy who doesn't get enough father in his life, he doesn't know how to do things as a man that are expected of him. Just, I don't care if it's holding a hammer or balancing a checkbook, or I mean, there's no reason for, that's a whole nother subject too. Men and women are capable of doing nearly the same things. Not everything. Men are stronger. Women have more nurturing aspects. We're not going to get into that battle right here and now, though. That's where this all borderlines, and that's why it's important, folks. There is a 777 rule, and that's helpful. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's something like the first 7 years the children play, the next 7 years there's teaching, and then the next 7 years there's guidance. That's somewhat healthy, though. There should be teaching by both genders the entire time, and guidance. It doesn't have to be complete hardcore instruction always, but it is, if you don't have anything, it's one of the healthier rules of thumb. But you know what, guys? Be in your daughter's life. We have a son right now that he is an amazing father. He has a 2-year-old daughter, and that little girl has been on a horse. She's been on a snowboard or skis. She's been swimming. She's done more in her first 2 years than a lot of kids have done in 18 years. I am not joking. And he's not being like overpowering or anything like that. He's being in his daughter's life because that's his responsibility as a father. And that is so needed, because that little girl is not going to grow up looking for a father figure, and there's not going to be a predator that's going to be out there waiting for her, because it's not going to happen. He's not going to allow it. And if you're raising little boys, if you have boys, it's same thing goes. He needs a father figure. If you're working at the office all day, or you're driving a truck, or whatever it is you do, you have to find time when you come home and on the weekends. These children need balance, 50-50. They need balance. They need the nurturing. They need the guidance. They need the hugs. Oh my gosh, men, don't be afraid to hug and kiss your children. It's okay. It's acceptable. I'm not talking about molestation. I'm talking about genuine love for your children. They need it. They thrive on it. They grow into healthy adults that way. And if they don't get it from their parents, they're going to get it somewhere else. Where do you want your children getting that kind of attention? Think about that. Where are they going to get their guidance? Where are they going to learn anything? If they can't depend on you, mom and dad, who can they depend on? All right, folks, if you liked any of this, I hope you subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and I will be sharing this also on Loving and Living Maine. I don't think I'm going to record this twice. I think I'm just going to share it there also. So I just hope to hear from you guys. Talk to you soon.